I'm still not really sure about UFOs, but I know for 100% certain that I saw something when I was flying by myself in a Cessna late at night. I was working on getting my commercial pilot's license at the time, so I had to build up flight hours. Easy way to do that was to rent Cessnas from my local flight school and fly around the state to visit friends. One night, I was coming back from a friend's place in Gainesville, Florida, and it was a super bright, clear night. The moon was out, and I was cruising at about 9,000 feet. When you are flying at night, it's incredibly easy to spot planes because of their rotating beacon and navigation lights on each wingtip. It's a pretty common occurrence to spot traffic and get vectored around them, even at 2 in the morning. Maybe about 8 to 10 miles directly ahead of me, I spotted another aircraft with what looked to be its landing light on, approaching me directly head-on at the same altitude. After a minute or so of flying head-on with the aircraft was about 2 to 3 miles distant now. I radioed Miami Center to see if they wanted me to vector around the oncoming traffic. The second I keyed the mic and called in my tail number, the landing light on the approaching aircraft quadrupled the intensity of its light. My entire cabin lit up, and I got pretty much blinded. For a second, I completely panicked, because I thought I misjudged the distance and I was about to die in a head-on air-to-air collision. I felt for the heading knob and gave it a good twist and changed my course by about 45 degrees. The oncoming light changed course with me and continued to shine into my cabin, but dialed back its intensity by quite a bit. Then all of a sudden, the light completely cuts out. The instant that happens, Miami Center calls me back. At the time, I still could not see very well, but I told ATC I had changed course to avoid traffic, same altitude, less than a mile distance. They said they had nothing on the radar. The rest of the flight was uneventful, but I was super freaked out. The whole thing lasted maybe 10 seconds. I did not tell anybody about it for a while, because I figured people would think I'm crazy or lying. Honestly, it could have been another aircraft, and maybe I really did narrowly avoid a mid-air, but there is a couple of things that didn't add up to me. Like for instance, how the light worked in conjunction with the radio, and how ATC had nothing on their scope. After it happened, part of me kept thinking I just dreamt it, or that I was seeing things, but for easily 45 minutes afterwards, my night vision was completely screwed up. The brightness of the light was comparable to staring directly at a camera flash, except the light lasted for more than an instant. I lost my vision almost entirely for like 3 minutes. It made me really nervous because I still could not really see outside the plane when I was approaching to land. It messed with my depth perception pretty badly, and the landing was rough. One night, I decided that after drinking heavily, to gather a few friends and go on a road trip to Sydney from Adelaide for the long weekend. I pack up the van. I figure it will be more than a day's trip, so we will have to camp out for the night unless friends want to keep driving throughout the night. We leave fairly late in the day because we underestimate just how lazy and hungover we all are. We get on the road at around lunchtime. We make pretty good progress, flooring it on the highway. It starts to get quite late into the night, and we have all had a turn driving so far. My friend starts to feel really uneasy and carsick. Screw it, we will just pull over and camp for the night. My friend gets increasingly sick throughout the night, starts throwing up constantly into plastic bags in the van. No way in hell am I sleeping in that same van. Myself and my other mate set up our swags, kinda like a mini tent / sleeping bag for one person, out in a rest and revive station set up along the highway, but within eyeshot of the van. It's a beautiful night. There is a full moon, and it is bright as shit. The swag has a flap that you can open up so you can see out at the sky, but with mesh to protect you from bugs and stuff. I decide to leave mine open to talk to my mate and watch the stars. I eventually fall asleep with the flap still open. I wake up in the middle of the night due to something dropping onto or hitting my face. It feels warm, but it smells horrible. I start to absolutely freak the hell out, but I am frozen with fear. What the hell is going on? My eyes slowly adjust, and I can see the silhouette of someone peering into my swag. I violently close my eyes and start to pray to God that I do not die. The swag shudders suddenly, as if something climbed up on top of it, but then the silhouette disappears. I hear the van door open and then running. My sick friend rushes over to my swag and unzips it in hysterics. "Are you okay? Oh God, I watched it the whole time. Where the hell is Aaron?" We both turn on our phone torches and leg it over to his swag. It looks as if it had been dragged a few meters and the pegs are out of the ground. He is literally frozen and wide-eyed. He starts whimpering and crying. We grab him up and bolt to the van. We lock the doors. We huddle on the floor underneath a blanket for the next few hours until the sun comes up. 3 grown men cowering in fear. The next morning, we start up the van and just drive, leaving all of our shit behind. We come to the nearest police station in Horsham. We tell the cops our entire story. They follow us back to where we set up for the night. Sure enough, Aaron's swag had been moved. There was a trail from where we first set it up. The top of both of our swags is spattered in something. It looks like spots of dried saliva on the mesh. It smells awful, like decayed meat. We pack our shit up and leave, back towards Adelaide. We have no idea what happened that night. The cops think it may have been some sort of animal. Mark is adamant that whatever he saw outside the van was stooped over and moved erratically. We never camped out during the night, ever again. Screw my country so hard. I spend a chronic amount of time in the woods/desert, so I have a few experiences that are not super long on their own, but are pretty damn creepy. For reference, these all took place in northeastern Wisconsin. Event number 1 happened when I was around 12 years old. I found a small red shoe that looked to have been for a toddler, pressed halfway into the mud by an old beech tree. It just gave me an immediate, uneasy feeling. Event number 2 was another strange find of mine. I found a very large black garbage bag tucked underneath a giant white pine tree. A morbid curious woman came over to me to investigate it. Sure enough, when she opened it up, it was full of gallon Ziploc bags. Each and every single one of these bags were completely filled with blood. My mind got hit with that immediate, cold feeling of dread. Event number 3, my last event. This was during a hike down a trail that meandered through the wetlands. I came across an abandoned house off the trail, on higher ground in the absolute middle of the woods. I've found several abandoned buildings in the forest before. I actually love them and explore them regularly. The difference with this one is it wasn't that old compared to every single other one I've come across. It wasn't dilapidated in the way that all of the others have been. There were no roads for about 10 miles, and I was at least a mile off the trail. Despite being puzzled by all of this, I was not deterred from investigating it a bit. I circled the house and found the back door to be the ideal entrance. There was an intact 1970s television and lots of waterlogged furniture and books lying around. The first bedroom was just an iron bed frame with no mattress on it at all. The second was directly next to the first. I peeked in and noticed that this one had a mattress on the bed frame that looked considerably newer than all of the other furniture. It was still very dirty, but was clear of debris that everything else was covered in. Then my eyes were drawn to the large Ziploc bag on the mattress that had a bottle of shampoo, papers, and other small bottles. All of these items looked to be brand new. Thankfully, my instincts clicked immediately in that moment. I calmly but quickly backtracked out of the house. Someone was living there. While in that moment, I was freaked out like no other. In hindsight, it just makes me feel kind of sad. We don't have homeless people in this particular region normally, due to temperatures dropping to minus 27 degrees Fahrenheit in the winter, and rural Wisconsin offering no infrastructure for the homeless. Alright, here's a story from when I was younger. I was around 12 to 13 years old at the time that this happened. There is an old abandoned house at the end of my road. Kids go on in for a trial of courage and bring something out. It's a big old 3-story house, and all of the windows are boarded up. It's creepy as hell and really overgrown. A couple of friends and me decided to go in one day after school. One of my friends actually used to live there before it was closed. Let's call him Charlie. I go into the house with friends through the front door. It's the only entrance into the house. I can only see a little bit of light coming through small cracks. I am walking in front of the group with Charlie. I am walking to the stairs since the bottom floor was already picked clean. He suddenly stops. The entire group stops. Charlie is telling everyone to be quiet. Everyone starts walking up the stairs in silence. I can finally hear it. I can hear Charlie's name being called. Something was calling out for him. Sounded like it was coming from the third story. We keep going. We get to the second set of stairs. The other friends grab onto Charlie. They tell him not to go. Everyone is stood still, but the calling is getting louder. The calling starts to sound more like a woman wailing. I look at my friends and then Charlie. They all look terrified. I bolt it and run downstairs. I slam through the back door and really hurt my shoulder. Other friends come running outside. Charlie is still inside. He comes out about a minute later. He is holding onto a tea cozy. Everyone runs home without saying anything. I asked him about it about a week or so afterwards. He said the voice sounded like his mom who died there when he was still living there. Pretty spooky. Me and my friends decided not to tell people about it out of respect for Charlie. Also, me and my friends got branded as the pussies that ran through the back door because we were too spooked. I have another story about an abandoned factory in that town, if anyone wants to hear it. Alright, this story isn't quite as good, but more weird, I guess. We were about 14 to 15 years old at this time. There is an old abandoned factory on the other side of the road to my house. Most of the windows have been smashed by kids with rocks. It's easy to get inside, but no one goes inside because of the police. One day, I am looking out the front window. I see a guy up in the top window in the factory. It's a pretty nice day, so I decide to go and investigate. My brother showed me how to get inside a while ago. I go around the back of the factory. It's a popular dog walking spot. I wait until there is no one around. I climb over the wall and run across the grass. I climb up some old metal stairs to a smashed-in window. I climb through the window into the old factory. I am on some old metal railing. I can see the factory floor, but it is empty and boring. I head into the offices and start climbing up the stairs. There is a lot of stairs. I climb up about 10 flights. I probably still have another 5 to go. I start to feel really uneasy. I climb up another 3. I look up, and then I see it. There is a huge hole where the next 2 floors should be. I can see the ceiling of the building. I'm sure that I saw the guy on the top floor. I can see the window that I saw the guy through. I decide to head back out and not to think about it. I get to the bottom of the stairs. Police are there. I get a formal warning, and the police tell my mom about how I went into the factory. Apparently, some old lady reported that she saw someone on the top floor. I try to explain that's not possible, but I still get reported because I was inside the factory. It was pretty weird. I remember other people getting caught by the cops because they were reported for being on the top floor, but only 1 or 2 people. It still creeps me out. I never looked at the windows again out of fear and moved away shortly after. Hey, hope you've enjoyed the story so far. If you want to hear more, make sure to subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment because it lets YouTube know you like the content and helps more people to see these videos. My next big goal for the channel is 100,000 subscribers, and as a celebration, I will be doing a Q&A video once we hit that goal. Thank you, and back to the stories. I was about 7 or 8 years old at the time this first one happened. I live on a medium-sized ranch with expansive woods that go on for miles. My dad is a bipolar asshole, but he is nice for once, and we go exploring in the woods. My brother comes with me. I wander off and they do not seem to notice. They were looking at the burnt-out car, my dad telling my bro about it and shit. I wander off to a thick patch of bushes and stuff and find a ditch. I see 2 dead teenage girls, one in a white dress and one with her pants pulled down. The eyes are removed from both, mouths both stitched up. I run to my dad, crying my eyes out, but I don't tell them what I saw. It turns 3 a.m. I wake up from some nightmare about whatever the hell. I am lying there. I decide to get up and look out the window at the coral. I see a lady in white standing there. Her gown is mucky, dirty, and blowing in the wind. I stare at her and then look away. It's now 3:13 a.m., and then I look back. When I look back, she is looking right at me. I get scared and look at the clock again. I look at her again, and she closed about 300 feet in about 2 seconds. She is really close, and I can see her eyes are just black with a wide mouth, and there is some black stuff running out of it. I scream and hide in the bathroom. I fall asleep, and am later woken up by my mother. I tell her I had a nightmare. I could fill an entire thread with stuff related to this, but on a side note, I recently went back to that ranch, and it is entirely abandoned. Just looking up the steep ruined hill made me severely ill and scared. All the way through my childhood years, I had nightmares and saw what I then called the white woman in my nightmares every night. Literally told no one. I will get back to that later. After some years, my father lost his cushy job out there, and we moved to a suburb. I thought that would end the nightmares, but it just gave birth to a whole new world of messed up. I will tell it as it happened. I am now 13 years old at this time. I finally moved to a real town near a real city. Hell yeah, time to make some friends. First kid I meet is a slow kid with 2 slow brothers down the street. They were really cool though. We are playing some video games at my place while my mom and my dad worked late. My brother was out. It's 1 a.m. but I am homeschooled, so I don't really care. I go to grab a drink. While I'm downstairs, the power just goes out. It was storming pretty hard. I'm deathly afraid of the dark since that night. I start remembering everything but grab my Pepsi and run back up to my friend. I am walking in the hall. I hear my friend talking. I figure maybe he's on the phone. I go into the room real quietly, but as soon as I get close, he snaps his head to me. I ask who he was talking to. He says, a girl in white. She is really nice. My heart sinks, and I have to fight back tears. I begin shaking. My friend asks me what's wrong. I'm just tired. I'm going to bed. I do not sleep that night. I will skip to the interesting parts. The rest is just similar tidbits of him seeing her. I am about 15 years old at this point. My friend moved away, so I'm feeling really down. It's late and everyone is working late again. My bro is out with his friends. I am all alone again. It's pitch black except for my nightlight in the hallway. Suddenly, an odor I never smelled since that afternoon. It's hard to describe. It's like if you leave a chicken or a steak out in the sun too long. Rotting flesh, I guess. I get scared. I see something white gleaming next to my light out of sight. I'm like, please no. Please God no. I do not want to die. A scrawny, bony hand reaches over my door. Suddenly, slam. My father is home and beyond pissed off. He hits the liquor immediately. The arm immediately slides away. The smell goes with it. My father is cussing up a storm about the place smelling like shit. Blah blah blah. Kids wrecking the place. I finally fall asleep and wake up the next day. I feel very uneasy for the next few months. I swear I developed depression around this point, aside from an abusive parent. Fast forward a few more days, just getting into drinking, messed up on my father's vodka, feeling good. Out of nowhere, I just suddenly get extremely depressed / pissed off and punch a hole in the wall. I have no idea why I did that, but my dad is pissed and starts screaming at me. I get into a dragged out argument and go to bed. My dad comes upstairs to administer my belting. I have my TV on, but I have shit reception, so there is static over infomercials. The infomercial goes out, and I hear a petite voice come from the speakers. 12 is all I can hear. I don't pay any mind to it since I'm about to be beaten. Fast forward to 18 years old. I am a full-blown alcoholic, and shit is about to kick up. It's January, and late at night, my mother comes to me. An officer is here to see you. Crap, what did I do now? I walk in the room nervous as shit and ask the officer what he wants. Are you Anon? Yeah, why? We found your father deceased in his apartment 2 nights ago. My mother divorced him, and he lived a long way away. Officer gives me the number to the coroner who has been working late. I ask him the approximate time of death, the 12th of December. Cause of death was cardiac arrest in his sleep. Fast forward, I take off work for bereavement to go and clean his shit up. I am talking to the coroner, and I mention I am interested in the line of work. He mentions all the things that go bump in the night. I see you know what I mean with your little friend there. What? Never mind me. I sign the papers, pay for my dad's nice new urn. I go back home. I hit a rough spot with bills and on leave from work for an injury, so everyone is pulling overtime, so that means absolute loneliness for 14 hours a day. I get a bit tipsy, listening to music, feeling a level of depression I never felt before. I am contemplating ending it all. I think of my dad and all the ways I did not beat his ass before he died. I am sort of drifting off. The music stops. All the lights are off. Tap, tap. There is a tapping coming from the window. I look over. Lo and behold, there is a face not even a plastic surgeon could create. It's a wrinkly, pale face with black eyes and that familiar mouth. I tactically shit my pants and grab my gun and run into the restroom. I forgot my liquor. Being half inebriated and smart, I go out to get my bottle. I open the door slowly. All is clear. I grab my shit. I realize this is just my mind playing tricks on me. I hear a wet slapping sound coming from the kitchen. Huh? I investigate, but there is nothing there. I am walking back to my room and I glance in the living room. Yep, she is there. I sprint to my bedroom. I slam the door and lock it. I am shaking so bad, I can't even hold my alcohol anymore. I black out and wake up the next morning, soaked in piss. I clean up and do something I have never done. I went to a church and spoke to a priest about the stuff. I ended up breaking down in the church in tears. The priest tells me it sounds like a poltergeist. Asks me some things, like if things move on their own, things get misplaced, if I've been involved with any rituals, etc. I tell him everything. While everyone is at work, he comes and blesses the house on my request. Days go by and things are okay. Then that smell. It comes back and I smell it. I can go on all night about this shit, but it would get repetitive fast. If anyone has any idea how I can be rid of this thing, some tips would be cool. I had quite a lot of spooky occurrences happen to me. I will convey them in chronological order. When I was a little kid of no more than 5 years, me and my family lived in an apartment of which we moved out since. That place had a bad vibe to it. I never felt safe inside it at all, as if someone was watching me. I was not the only one who felt discomfort in there. My mom reported feeling bad in there as well. The first scary memory that I have from that place was when I was in the living room with my parents one evening. I felt inclined to look at the display window of the closet from close up, so I walked toward it. When I got close enough, I noticed a white face looking back at me. Even though I was scared, I did not back up or call my parents. I felt hypnotized. I can't remember what happened after that. After we moved out of the apartment, I saw one of the videotapes my father recorded of me and my sister playing in the living room. Everything was normal in the video, but something was wrong in the audio. Over the voices of me and my sister playing, there was a metallic, male droning sound. It kept getting louder and louder until the video cuts to another film session. The second scary memory that I have from that apartment is by far the scariest thing that ever happened to me. I was lying awake in my bed one night when suddenly I saw a white head peeping over the side of my bed. The shape of it resembled that of a sheet ghost. The only facial features that I can remember from it were black eyes. The head kept peeping out and then going back to hide under my bed. He just kept repeating this action in total silence. Eventually, I covered myself with the blanket, and I can't remember what happened after that. After I got older, I came across the story of the Flatwoods Monster. As I read about it, I became shocked as to how much the creature described sounded familiar. I even remember reading some eyewitness reports saying that sometimes his head is the only thing visible, just like in my case, picture related. That's the guy I saw, only without his body. Another weird thing in relation to the story was that I received the exact debunking theory about the creature from some guy I told the story to a long time ago, that it might have been an owl. Strange coincidence, maybe. My mother used to say that at that time, there were a lot of UFO reports in our region. My father even has a video recording that he took of a bright light hovering silently in front of our building. After this, a similar event happened to me when I was in kindergarten. I was minding my own business outside when I saw a head with strange facial features peeking over the fence wall, and then going back down, just like the creature that I saw in my bedroom did. This one looked more human though, and it wasn't white. I'm not sure if I was the only one seeing him, because I was not alone out there. After my 6th birthday, we moved out of that cursed apartment to another apartment in the same city. The new place did not have a bad vibe to it, but I still had scary things happen to me. Before I convey the things that happened in the apartment we moved to, I will tell you the story of a very peculiar event that happened in the new kindergarten I went to after we moved. There was this kid in my kindergarten that was kind of a weirdo. Nobody hung around with him, and he was pretty much a loner. One day, all of us kids were playing hide and seek in the yard. After a couple of rounds, we suddenly hear someone scream in pain. From the corner of the yard, the weirdo kid comes crawling out, covered in blood, and I mean completely covered in blood, wailing like a lunatic. He did not seem to have any visible injury on him, just tons of blood. The kindergarten teacher rushed to him and took him somewhere. After he was taken, I realized that not only did we play several rounds without finding him, but also, the place that he crawled out of was just a small corner in the yard next to the outer walls of the kindergarten structure. That place was searched through several times, and there was nothing in there that could hurt him like that. We were never told what happened to him, and he returned after a couple of days, refusing to say what went wrong. This was all nice and good, except it happened 3 more times since then. We would all be playing outside when suddenly he would crawl out of there, howling and covered in blood from head to toe. I was in school with him when we got older, and when I asked him regarding it, he would say that he does not know what I'm talking about, but he was visibly upset when I mentioned this. Now onward to the scary things that happened in the new apartment, the one that I live in now. When me and my sister were still kids, we used to sleep together in the same room on a double bunk bed. One day, I went to sleep on the top bunk, knowing that tomorrow my grandmother would come to visit us. I was pretty excited. I woke up in the middle of the night with the door to our room open and a shadowy figure standing at the entrance. I was convinced that it was my grandmother who came early, and so I called out her name. The figure just kept standing there without moving or replying to me. I then fell back to sleep immediately, as if all of my strength was sucked out of my body. When I woke up in the morning, my grandmother had not arrived yet. This is not the first time I saw what I consider to be a shadow person. After I grew up, I was moved to the room at the end of the corridor. That room had a door leading to a bathroom. One night I woke up to see the door to the bathroom open and a shadowy figure standing at the entrance. I thought it was my mother this time, so I called out her name, but the figure did not reply. Then I felt again as if the strength was sucked out of me, and I fell back to sleep. The third and last time I saw that figure was when I woke up in the middle of the night, lying on the floor with my face down. I was paralyzed, and I could sense that the same shadowy figure was standing over me. I can't remember what happened after that, and if I woke up on the floor that morning or not. The following story is what I consider to be the second scariest thing that ever happened to me. I was woken up in the middle of the night by the voice of my mother shouting at me from her bedroom, "Stop making loud noises, Anon." As I was trying to understand what was going on, I noticed that there was a loud noise coming out from beneath my bed. There were a lot of heavy boxes underneath there, filled with my toys. As a kid, I could barely move them, and what was down there was really going at it at full force, kicking them around. I shouted back at her that it wasn't me. She did not believe me because she was an asshole. All of a sudden, the noises stopped. I looked toward the bathroom door, and I saw a young lady with her back to me, wearing a classic Victorian-era pink dress, floating above the ground and moving toward the closed bathroom door. She went through the door, and that is all there was to it. I never saw that girl again. The last thing that was out of order in this apartment was when I woke up early in the morning to the sound of a man shouting, as if in pain, from what sounded like the hallway. I thought I was imagining it, and I went back to sleep. Next morning, my father asked if I was shouting during the night. The last scary thing that happened to me was when I was with my whole extended family in the apartment of my aunt after my grandmother died. We all heard a knocking on the entrance door. It was late at night, and we were not expecting any guests. The knocking would not stop until we opened up the door to see that there was nothing there. It happened several times during the week following her death.